What repeatedly frustrates you the most? Isn't that a good topic for us to tackle today? Welcome to the Unraveled channel. My name is Victoria Robinson. I am the unraveling expert. I have a lot of training as well as a special gift to help awaken expectation. On this channel, what we do is address common issues that have detrimental effects. Today, we're going to be tackling a topic entitled Unresolved Frustrations. But what on earth is a frustration? It's so much bigger than a stinking attitude. I really want to kick it off with just sharing some points that I found in my research and preparation for our video today. So I'll read a little bit of my notes. There are two different types of frustrations. There's an internal as well as an external. Now, your internal frustrations are going to be the result that arise when you're challenged in the places of not meeting personal goals, desires go unmet, needs go unmet, or dealing with a perceived inadequacy within yourself. Whereas external frustrations are completely outside of your control, and these things occur in cases where you feel like there's a physical roadblock, an extremely difficult task, or the perception of you wasting your time. Bottom line is this: frustrations, this was so good, originates from the feeling of uncertainty and security, and this all stems from the sense of the inability to fulfill a need. Have you been there where you're frustrated on the inside or frustrated from things that are going on the outside? That can be from your family, your work, in the community, in traffic, or down to, again, on the inside, you made a goal, it didn't happen, or you've been trying and it doesn't seem like it's getting you where you want to go. But what is that one thing or those few things that you're like, oh my goodness, Victoria, when this happens, OMG, I am like beyond the moon frustrated. I'll kick the conversation off, but be sure to make your comments below over your number one frustration. Mine would have to by far be when I'm in a situation that I have given a task or a relationship or anything, everything that I know to give. Have you been there? And after all that, it's met with rejection by the very people or place that I did it all for. Take me a little Selah moment. That is something that can frustrate me, again, both internally as well as externally. I'd love to give you an example of where that recently challenged me and what I did to overcome that frustration. Well, for some of you, you may know that I'm an author as well as a speaker, and so I take great joy as well as pride in growing in my craft. I am involved in a lot of development as well as groups in the community to help sharpen me. This particular example that I'm going to bring you the story from is a part of one of the writers' groups that I've joined to help strengthen my content that I produce. Giving you a background on it, it's where we critique each other. It's the goal of the group, but you can't defend yourself because your manuscript needs to be able to stand all by itself as though it was in the hand of your ideal reader. So when I joined the group, I had already decided, I want to use Unraveled Potential, which is my first book, and I want to go through this whole revision process and take my content to the next level for 2020. I'm pumped. I mean, we take about 2 months, myself and my editor, going back and forth on really tightening this thing up. It would have walked through a process similar to this if my chapter 1 was a size 16, which I can wear on some interesting days. It would have started at a 16 and went down to like a size 5. That bad boy was moving in the right direction in my head. So imagine my excitement when I get to share this with the group, and I'm expecting to hear amazing feedback and so on and so forth. I get to the meeting, I'm the first person that's under review, and each person gets about 5 minutes. So in total, each author or aspiring one will be reviewed for about 25 minutes amongst the group. So wait for this. You remember I told you I took 2 months. It was 25 minutes of negativity. Now, please note, I got to a level of frustration that I got deaf to anything except negativity. So it is very likely that they said some good things, but the only things that seemed to like take root in my hearing was the negative stuff. So as one person after the other, I feel the frustration like boiling up, and it's coming forth and through questions like, can't they see what I meant? In my head, because remember, in that setting, I can't defend myself verbally, but in my head, I'm thinking, don't they know how long I took to write that one sentence? It used to be a whole paragraph. It took me 2 days to write that one sentence. What are they missing? Down to, they're trying me. Who do they think they are? They don't know me. They don't know how hard that was. Who do they think they are? I can't with this. I literally wanted to run out of the group. But as a 37-year-old woman who was an influencer, I knew that was not the move. But that's where my frustration took me to emotionally. In that instance, I was affected by an internal as well as an external frustration. My internal frustration was that I had a goal that I wanted to achieve in terms of the response I expected from the group, which was moderately, I thought good at minimum. Of course, I want to grow, but goodness, no good in my head. And the external frustration was that I felt like these people who didn't understand me were standing in the way of my progress. Because if they can't understand me, then how are they going to help me? So I'm just all over the place with frustration. How do you respond though when you're in those situations where your number one or number five, your top 5 frustrations, it's stimulated, the trigger is in place, whether it's someone rejecting you, someone lying to you, someone pushing you in a certain way, someone yelling, or whatever it is that triggers that top frustration. How do you respond? For me, I wanted to run, but I didn't. So the question is why didn't I respond or give way to what my frustration was prescribing for me to do at that time? I thought about this really intently in preparation for this video. See, what I have learned over the years is that we're not helpless to our frustrations. In other words, you and I are not a victim of how we feel. We are victorious because we own how we feel, not because we have really high charged moments of emotions that are indescribable in some cases. So me going back and pulling that tool out my toolbox and saying, nope, Octoria, you are not helpless, so therefore you're not going to behave helpless. You're not going to run out of this meeting. You're not going to raise your voice. You're not going to roll your eyes. You're not going to change your posture. You're not going to slaughter their manuscript when it's your turn. You're not doing any of those things. What you're going to do is trust the Lord with your next step. How do you go from wanting to run to saying, I'm about to trust the Lord with my next step? I'd like to give you a scripture to really hang out and really meditate on, and you get your own revelation from it, and I'll share with you mine. It's found in Psalms 37, the 23rd verse through the 24th, and I'm going to paraphrase it. It says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. See, this is why in that moment I could peel back and say, I'm not helpless. You know why? I'm powerful. I've got the Savior of the world, the God of all creations, organizing my very next step. So even though I feel caught off guard, I feel under attack, I feel rejected, I'm not helpless. I'm empowered because there's someone greater working on my behalf. He's my eyes when I can't see. He's my ears when I can't hear. He's my mind, and he's helping me to make sense of what doesn't make sense. He's helping me to process the unexpected, all without falling prey to my frustrations and stepping outside of my character. That was a mouthful, right? Because again, when you're in those moments and the heat is on and all those triggers and elements are in place, it's like, forget it all. I'm about to let you and whomever know exactly how I feel, and you are going to just have to deal with it because you pushed me to this place. What I'm inserting into our conversation today is that we're not helpless to our frustration, just like I was not helpless to my frustration in that moment, even though it was one of my biggest frustration. So, Victoria, you're probably thinking, how'd you get there? Because certainly you just didn't have a mystical moment where you could do all of that, like, instantaneously. Nope, you're right. I've worked super hard with mentors, reading books, listening to great people who bring information that helps you develop habits and really grow strong in those places. And I want to share with you 3 keys that I believe will help you if you found it difficult to rise in strength and in confidence and really trust the Lord with your next step in those moments that you're deeply frustrated. The first thing I would have to say that really shifted me and helped me to put this tool and hang it on my tool belt would be this point right here. And as you guys know, I'm about to give you a key. Acceptance can bring order. If you be honest with yourself, when you get frustrated, it's a chaotic place mentally and emotionally, and everything is just a pure mess. You can't see, hear, or think clear. It's chaotic. So what acceptance works like in a moment like that is it comes and brings order. What do you need to accept when you're frustrated? As you can't control. You can't control. You're not in control. You never were in control. Even though you planned it out, even though you thought it through, even though you brought your best, even though you tried and worked super hard, you're not in control. So acceptance will bring order that you need to actually pick your hand up and access this tool that I'm speaking about. Secondly, your second key is there is success in surrender. If you've ever had to accept something that's super difficult or goes against the moment or goes against how you really feel, then you know that there's a level of surrender that you operate in. But I am here to share with you there is success in your surrender. Where will you find success? Success over that frustration. See, here's the thing. Frustrations, they don't have to break you. They can shape you. What? Not shape you into a bitter, mad person, but shape you with character, shape you with discipline. That is self-discipline. Shape you with wisdom and knowledge of yourself and empower you with tools. So I want to remind you through this principle, there is success in surrendering. What did I need to surrender in that moment? Read along with what I needed to accept. I need to accept that I wasn't in control, and I needed to surrender the little control that I brought in, thinking like, I'm about to impress and wow these people with all my awesomeness as an author. I had to surrender it. Last but not least is this one. Living without this type of control that I'm speaking of is actually living in faith. See, it took a lot of faith to sit there and trust God to show me good, even though all I could hear, feel, sense, see was negative. That was a huge faith moment. If I weren't confident in my calling and, you know, purpose as an author and a speaker, I might have walked out of there and said, forget it all. But no, I chose to accept what I couldn't control, surrender the control that I tried to usurp in the moment, and live without that control, which in turn gave me access to faith to, guess what? Trust the Lord with my next step. Remember, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. I'll leave you with this thought. At the end of 24, in Psalms 37, it says this, though he fall, he shall not be cast down. The Lord uphold his hand. You don't have to fall to frustrations, my friends. Not when you trust the Lord with your next step. So, who are you going to trust when you become frustrated? Are you going to trust your feelings, or are you going to trust the Lord with your next step? I pray that you'll choose to trust the Lord because he won't fail you. I have so enjoyed our talk today. Please do comment below. I want to hear from you, my friends. If this has blessed you, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I want to spread this love to as many people as possible as we tackle these common things and begin to unravel and genuinely find success in these areas. Also, I'd love to encourage you, if you haven't already, grab your copies of the Unraveled series. I'm telling you, it is packed with wisdom and knowledge that will just help unravel your potential and help you to really live fearlessly and go after everything that you desire. So grab your copies. They're both found on Amazon. That's Unraveled Potential and Unraveled from Fear. And if you haven't begun to follow me yet on social media, check me out on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Octoria. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. I look forward to being with you after the holidays. I have already got something turning in my heart that I want to share with you. So I will chat with you soon. Take care.